What's going on, YouTube and Y'all Squad? This is your boy Yocrates. This is your review for Belle Collective Season 2, Episode 3. Really quickly, I don't have my notes, so I'm a freestyler. So, in the event that I do miss anything, we could just keep the conversation going in the comments. Also, don't forget that tonight, the Whether You Like It or Not panel is going to be on Josiah World's TV channel. So make sure you catch us there because you know we're going to be live and we're going to cut the food. So with this episode, we pick up where we left off and, meeting in the men's room. You, well, actually, you have Letitia going to Latree to retrieve Latrice and have her go talk to Marie. And Latrice's whole thing is, look, I'm going to give it 2 minutes because in her mind, I don't see us getting anywhere, and I think I would have also loved it if Latrice would have said, her energy is already on 1,000. We can hear y'all screaming all the way back in the banquet hall. There's a strong chance that there's nothing that I can say in this moment that's going to penetrate. I mean, I might be able to sow the seed, but it's probably just going to be sitting on top of the dirt for a hot minute. But she goes in there and it's pretty much just saying that she had nothing to do with this alleged takedown because Letitia had even said, like, when she heard about it, she shut the stuff down, this, that, and the third. So Marie was upset because she didn't come in and she did not own anything. She's still saying that she didn't do it. So for Marie, that was enough. On one hand, I get Marie. On one hand, like, if you did now, there's the whole thing of me feeling like you did me dirty and then you actually did me dirty. But if she feel like, okay, you did me dirty and I'm expecting you to come in here and own it, okay, well, if you ain't owning it, there ain't nothing else we need to talk about. So I get why Marie was ready to walk away, especially because emotions were already high. And Latrice came in on some real chill, which is the thing. So it's like there was an imbalance in terms of energy. It'd be different if Latrice came in on the rah rah, but she didn't. And one thing that I'm going to fault Letitia with is the fact that you keep trying to restrain her, not necessarily physically, or try to keep her in a situation is going to continue to heighten. And emotions are going to literally run rampant, which is what is happening. You have Latrice letting her know, I'm not finna babysit somebody's feelings. I don't think that was the exact wording, but something along those lines where it's just like, that ain't my job. And I understand that and I get that. So you have a couple of women going into the men's room to, talk to Latrice. And Latrice's whole thing is like, I'm good. Like, I ain't even do nothing. Like, I tried. I couldn't get past one sentence and here we are. Marie feels that Letitia is, backpedaling because in her mind, she felt that Letitia went to grab Latrice and Latrice was coming in to apologize. Not necessarily what it was. And all right, that was my thing going off. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. That was an alarm that I had. So I'm gonna try to hurry and get through this review because I got something else that I have to get to. Sorry. So Marie still ain't having it, and Letitia's just trying to really trying to reach her, and it's not working. And it eventually ends with a, okay, girl, they just hugged it out, and I'm gonna talk to you later. In the midst of all this, IKEA still, talking cash money, low key referring to the event as ghetto and whatnot. She leaves. I believe it was Melanie who calls her. She was on speakerphone, so we got to hear it, and she is literally going off. And, even saying something along the lines of, like, I know the people that own this space, so I don't want to be attached to this. But my question is, so if you know the people that own this space, and you had a plate that was quote unquote dirty, if you know the people, why couldn't you just go and just be like, hey, can I get a brand new plate? Again, I feel like we're looking for a moment. So anyway, Letitia comes back to the table. The women update her on what was said, and she pretty much just like, I ain't feeling IKEA. She on that bougie ish. She thinks she better than everybody else. Whatever. I'm probably gonna go out of order. But I'm gonna just go ahead and get the scenes knocked out. You have Latrice and her husband with So Gucci and JJ. I believe they said he was on Bring It or Bring It On or something like that, like with the dancing dolls or whatever. Again, this is my first time meeting him. I'ma just say I enjoyed his energy, like kooky, highly energetic, and country as hell. And I only say it like that because my family is from Mississippi. I forget exactly where my father was actually born in Mississippi, but I know my mother's side of the family was born, or they're all mostly in Starkville, Mississippi, and my mother's father was, I believe, Montgomery, Alabama. So I have very southern roots, and then of course most people that are in Illinois, more or less Chicago, most of our family originates from the Cricolette anyway. So there's that. But just a breath of fresh air, and it was just like why everybody is trying to be so prim and proper and hoity toity. Like he was just cool, and I was just like, man, I'm feeling this. They went dirt riding and whatnot. They get done with that. They retreat to this. Well, they're on a piece of land that Latrice and Cliff own, and that is some good land. Look, I hope they marry fast, but if it don't, y'all need to make sure that stuff stays somewhere in the family because y'all need to keep that. That's gonna make y'all money. I ain't even lying. But they started talking about the event and whatnot, and you had JJ speaking on what was going on. I'm under the impression that he picked up his wife, so he might have heard some commotion, or more or less she probably just told him about it. And they was even saying like, yeah, with the dudes, it really don't be like that. Not necessarily. Now, is it drama when it comes to men getting together? Hell yeah, testosterone, all that stuff, and people trying to put their what's on the table and measure it. Yeah, it's always something. So, it is what it is. And then eventually, kids come up in conversation, and of course, Latrice is still kind of apprehensive on whether or not she wants to do the whole children thing. And then you have her husband, again, I believe his name is Cliff, saying, "Don't be like Tambra," which it was funny, but it's like you being shady for no reason. And if we're gonna keep it all the way a buck, Tambra is probably in the best situation. The fact that she is wearing protection with someone who she sees a future with, but ain't trying to get pregnant until at least she's married, even though that doesn't guarantee that things will work out. But she at least wants to be in that mode before she has a child. So Tambra winning. Okay. Let's see what else. Latrice meets with her mother, and her mother is asking her like, "Do you really want to have a child?" And Latrice talks about the different men in her life and them leaving her, not necessarily like leaving her as in I'm not dealing with you no more, but some passing away and all those other different things. So there's a sense of abandonment, and she doesn't want to have a child, and there's a sense of abandonment there. And I think part of it might be it's one of two things: either A, she feels her husband will leave her physically, or he may depart from this world and now their child is left without a father. And then the mother says to her, pretty much you married your father. And again, we don't know the true ins and outs of the father and whatnot, but the fact that her mother is able to say that to her, because we hear all the time that more often than not, we tend to marry our parents. Somebody that is pretty much a walking representation of who our parent is, So that raises a bit of concern, and part of me wants to give him the side eye, but again, he ain't really said too much, even though he was cutting the food last season. But okay, nevertheless, we get Marie. Marie, we found out that the funeral happened for her grandson's mother. In the process of the funeral, she has lupus, so she had a flare up, and Essie comes over. I'm gonna call her Effie. Essie comes over because she has a key to the place and whatnot, and is checking up on her. And Maria's just saying how with everything that's going on, like nobody really checks up on her. This, that, and the third. Though technically Essie is there, but I'm pretty sure she didn't mean Essie. But it's just kind of like subtle, kind of read the room when you say certain stuff. But talking about how she does so much and she takes on so much, and that does happen. You do have people, both men and women, who either have a very nurturing spirit, or B, they know how it is to not for someone to not be there for you, so they try to be the change that they want to see in the world, but in the process of always being a giver, nobody sews back into them. So this is her having to work through some things, but she's going to have to lighten the load. Or if she has the funds, which let her tell us she does, then you might need to hire a house manager or some other stuff. You need to take some things off your plate. I get it. You trying to help your son out, but if you taking care of his child, it's going to sit here and have you to cause a flare up. You need to readjust that. If you sitting here going out of your way for your mother, then since you have facilities, put your mother in inpatient therapy and let that be that. But taking on all of this, yes, it is going to cause your body to do what it does. And what we have to realize is our bodies our bodies will give us a warning sign like, hey, you're doing too much. Hey, you need to slow down. And when we don't take the hint, our body will go ahead and make the decision for us. So I think that's where she is. Tambra and Ikea meet for lunch. During the luncheon, they talk about the ghetto-ness of the, event and whatnot. I don't really like this click up because, again, I got very colorist vibes and this whole pretty girl vibe and all this other stuff. Tambra, I don't want to look at you different, baby, but I'm starting to side eye you too. But nevertheless, we find out that she had tried IVF and whatnot, and that wasn't working. But God blessed her because though she was going for a non-natural method of getting pregnant, and it all failed by her just naturally, having relations with her husband, she ended up conceiving, I believe, twice and having her children. So those are her miracle children. And I mean, hey, that is a miracle. But see, sometimes you just gotta, be in tune and just wait for, life to happen rather than you trying to force stuff to happen, right? Have I missed anybody? I don't think so. So the last scene that we get is we end up getting Letitia and Ikea, and all that really happens is they rehash the event. They shading each other back and forth and whatnot, which I found to be funny because you keep having Ikea say, because her whole thing is, well, the way that you reacted when I brought up the plate, but it's the manner in which you did it. Again, I know about tone and all the other stuff because yeah, sometimes my tone could be messed up, but I know when dealing with people in certain things, I know there's a certain way. Like if I want a certain result, I need to adjust the tone and my volume and everything and how I deliver something. But the fact that she kept sitting there and for every person that will listen and all these different times, I don't eat for dirty plate. I don't eat for dirty plate. And if we heard it that many times in that short amount of time, how much more did she say it? So, long story short, Letitia and Ness is gonna suck it up, and they're gonna go ahead and work this project. And she even feels that IKEA is biting off of her because of this thing, which I do believe that because again, if you've had property there and whatnot before this show even aired, did you really want to come back to Jackson to revitalize Fair Street? But anyway, that's all I got, y'all. I'll go into, well, I won't say I'll go into more detail, but we, meaning the panel, will talk about this more later on tonight. So again, catch us live at 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central. And yeah, we will have a good old time. So until then, y'all have a blessed and prosperous week. And I will see you all for the next video, which will be Real Housewives of Atlanta. Peace out.